Hello, everybody. How's it going? I don't know what day it is anymore. I think I'm starting to think, and I'm like, is it Tuesday? Yeah, it's Tuesday. I'm not quite sure anymore. Welcome everybody. And yeah, man, I got to go out to the movies today, so I figure, hey, why not report back on that? I've been saving up a whole bunch of TikToks and stuff. A whole bunch of movie TikToks have been flying my way, so I figure, hey, let's put some of those bad boys together. Do a couple quick reactions and whatnot. Again, I have no idea what any of those things are. I just kind of see them, and we'll see what happens. So again, do me a big old giant favor. Like and subscribe on this here podcast if you haven't. I'd really appreciate it if you did, because the more people that do that, the more it shows that people actually want to listen to this show, and that's ultimately that's how it gets out to other people, man. Is you just like and subscribe and commenting on not only this video but any video that comes out. For the love of anything, just say, hey, this is all right, this is okay, I'm fine with this. That's all I need, nothing much. But yeah, man, so like I said, I got to go out to the movie theater this today. We'll cover Jurassic World Rebirth. I wasn't aware that we were already at the point where we were like, well, let's reboot the World franchise, because we've already done enough. We did 3 of those. One more time. One more go around the sun. But instead of naming it something else, we go ahead and just name it Rebirth. Does that make sense within the context of the story? We'll talk a little bit about it. And as I said, we'll cover a couple of silly TikToks and stuff as well. But yeah, man, do me a big old solid, man. Just like and subscribe. This would really appreciate that. And of course, if you want to throw in that super chat there, aka Portress Bucks, you can do that stuff as well. We really appreciate you on that one. What else? Let me think. Any other news? Any other little bull crap that I want to cover before we kind of get into it? Let other folks maybe trickle in a little bit. For those of you that have been coming out to the live show on Sunday, the live stream there and whatnot, really appreciate that. We're starting to see those numbers go up. And if we see those numbers go up and these numbers go up and they tell 2 people and they tell 2 people, you know how it goes. So again, really appreciate that. All the liking, subscribing, all that kind of good stuff. Yeah, man. So let's see. Let's get some stuff on the screen here and we'll kind of get to rocking and or rolling. Not sure which I want to do first. The rock or the roll. Oh, this I wanted to show you. I wanted to show you this. This is what I just got this in the mail. I need to even get, like, it's so brand new. It's still got the shrink wrap on it. And I want to take the shrink wrap off so it doesn't, you can actually see it proper. But I got a movie in the mail. I don't know that this is what I really should be testing out when I'm, got a subwoofer in for review, because I don't know that this is going to be high on the priority of wild bass and everything. But I have this was expensive for a while. But I saw it is very much on sale. So I was like, I got to get this thing. Now, I need to tell you how I came across it first, though. So at VisArt Video, which is the last remaining video store in Charlotte, we would do a thing. I'm not sure how often they do it nowadays, just because they've opened up a whole new theater. That's another topic for another time. But what we would do is we would have these VHS potlucks where you would bring VHS tapes and stuff, and you would we'd put them all out. And if you saw them, if anyone saw any one of the VHS tapes that was there, you took that out of contention. And so the idea is put in a group of tapes and say, none of us have seen any of the movies that are laid out on the table. Then everyone would vote on the movie that they wanted to watch. And then whatever everyone voted on, that's what we would end up watching. It was amazingly fun because you were watching a movie with a group of people that had never seen that movie before. It was on like a 100-inch screen and everything. So it was a really awesome experience to do that. And then oftentimes after that first one, we would go and do a secondary screening, sometimes still within the limit of, like, maybe it's one of the ones that we haven't seen before, but also sometimes one of the ones that we had. And we'd been talking about this movie for like weeks on end, and somebody found a copy on VHS. And I think maybe 1 or 2 people had seen it previously before. but none of us had, and we saw it, and it was an experience I'll never forget. And it came out on Severin not too long ago in Blu-ray form, and that is the Peanut Butter Solution. I don't know if you've heard of this flick. I know some people have seen it. I know some people like. I'm going to read the back of the box here, and this will kind of explain to you some of the goings on here. Let me get it towards the light. If you were a child of the 80s, you were likely traumatized for life by repeated viewings on this on cable or VHS. If you've never seen it, nothing can prepare you for the damage that awaits your psyche. For our debut release, Severin Kids, this is a children's program. This is, you're probably like 8, 9 years old when they want you to watch this. Severin's Kids presents the notoriously strange and creepy BeatRoute.ca Canadian kiddie feature about burning witches, sudden baldness, psychic teachers, suburban abductions, that's the word I'm looking for, juvenile sweatshops, and the icky concoction that grows long, lustrous hair. That's right, this kid's hair starts falling out, and he puts this peanut butter solution in. It puts far too much peanut butter, and his hair starts growing. And that's just the earliest weird part of this thing. It gets much, much weirder from there. This is a quote from somebody from the kitchen, thekitchen.com. Who knew that was a place that reviewed websites and everything? Here's their quote: "The scariest movie of all time, a movie so terrifying and bizarre that I was convinced that my memories of watching it as a child were false." So I'm going to be watching this over the next day or two. This is a peanut butter solution in Blu-ray and everything. So going from VHS to Blu-ray is going to be a real fun blast. So just have, hold on, let's see if there's hold on. Severin's doing me a favor. Check it. We got the reversible cover art here. It's no hack-a-lantern, mind you. So there's I guess that's the original poster. Why not? Anyways, that's the peanut butter solution. I'm going to be checking that out and maybe getting a new mic stand. Who knows? All right, let's crank it together. All right, boys and girls, let's get it going. So I got to go out to the movie theater today and got to see the new Jurassic World movie, everybody. That's right, Jurassic Park is back, but the Jurassic World this time. Sure, we went through 3 Jurassic World films, but we're rebooting them already because, I don't know, I suppose that's what we do here. Let's get into this. Here's the IMDb plotline. As we know, IMDb always 100% correct in everything they say and or do. 5 years past Jurassic World Dominion 2022. You know that's a good sign when they're always telling you the year that the movie came out that they're referencing. An expedition braves isolated, oh my God, equatorial regions. That's because it's on the equator. Equatorial? Sure. Equatorial regions to extract DNA from the 3 massive prehistoric creatures for a groundbreaking medical breakthrough. Who wrote this? Someone needs to get fired. That's atrocious. Is that what this movie is? Yes. What? All right. Anywho. This is directed by Gareth Edwards, written by David Koepp. David Koepp, of course, wrote the original Jurassic Park movie and everything like that, as well as the Sam Raimi Spider-Man, a couple other movies and stuff like that. Very famous guy. Gareth Edwards, of course, directed some Godzilla and whatnot, and Monsters from back. It's called Monsters back in the day, if memory serves. Yeah, man. So I knew nothing. I knew nothing going into Jurassic World Rebirth, save for the fact that it was Jurassic World, right? I knew that Scarlett Johansson was in it. I think I vaguely remember that Gareth Edwards was directing it, but that's about it. And I think maybe once he showed up, I was like, oh yes, Mahershala Ali is in this. That much I remember. Outside of that, I don't think I saw a single trailer for this movie. Has anybody remember seeing trailers for this? I mean, I'm at the movies all the time. Doesn't make a whole heck of a lot of sense. But yeah, man. So here's basic idea of this. I'll start out with saying this. The movie is okay. It's not great. but it's not atrocious either. For what this movie is and what it has the potential of being, and I say that in as much as at least the last Jurassic World movie, which I think we're all, even if you're a fan of the Jurassic World stuff, I think we can all agree that that third one was probably the weakest of them all. And even then, the second one wasn't all that super great to begin with. The first one was fine. I liked it well enough. But with the third one, you're like, all right, I don't know how much more of this we need. And they say, hey, we've got Jurassic World Rebirth for you. Are you ready to go with this? And we're like, man, it just seemed like 2 seconds ago that we had this last Jurassic movie. You want to continue on with this? And they go, yeah, we'll do it. Seemed like a bad idea. Seemed like a horrible idea. Like I said, I saw nothing of it. But my expectations were fairly in the gutter, as you might imagine them to be. But I didn't hate it. Maybe that was part of my programming that I've done myself, where I've just kind of gone like, listen, if I don't have to, I'm not going to watch trailers. I'm not going to get anything, no preconceived notions about anything going in. And I assumed that it was probably going to be, garbage. But with Gareth Edwards kind of behind the helm, I knew that there was a chance it could be pretty good. But let's get to its strengths and weaknesses and all that kind of good stuff. The strengths, of course, is Gareth Edwards actually deciding to tell a story with this. It's not the best of stories. It is a very derivative story, so we'll get into that. But that's not neither good nor bad, I think. But the movie itself is kind of just, it's so-so. But it's only I think if Gareth Edwards wasn't behind the director's chair, I think this thing could get awful sloppy, and the pacing isn't there. But there is something about it that is kind of, all right, let's just talk about it. If you haven't seen this movie, this is a Steven Spielberg production, but it's also basically a Steven Spielberg film. Because it's Jurassic Park by way of Jaws. I mean, it's very much Jaws for the most part, even though we're going back and in order to, get a drug, to develop a drug or whatever that will help cure everything. You know how these things are. These scientists will go to this one part of the world that's right by the equator where all the dinosaurs and everything are still alive. They're still wandering. They're starting to die off all around the world, though. But we've shock of all shocks. Dinosaurs weren't meant to live in modern times. So all the dinosaurs are dying off, but there is a large group of what we will later find out are like crazed mutants and stuff that live right around the equator and everything, where it's still kind of hot, still very much in that kind of hot Paleozoic kind of vibe there and everything. So that's where they hang out. But according to this, with the way that, the movie science works, their blood, their DNA, whatever the hell it is, contains the mystery of life, the thing that will go and solve cancers and all this other stuff. But they have this ability to really last a long time. And if we could take their DNA and study it and everything, unfortunately, no one will take anyone down there. We really have to find, someone that will take us down there. And we want to keep it on the down low, because obviously if everybody goes, oh, we can take this to, make a new medicine or something like that, there's going to be a gold rush on it. We don't want any of that. We want to keep stuff low. So they hire some mercenaries and stuff, played by Scarlett Johansson, who when I look at, I just go mercenary, absolute mercenary. Listen, I know that we put Scarlett Johansson in the Black Widow movie here and everything, but let's be honest, this girl's 5'1", right? She weighs like 100 pounds. She ain't beating nobody's ass. And she ain't going after, international cartels or whatever bull crap it is that her character supposedly did at one point or another. That's really neither here nor there. But she's fine. She is very tan in this movie, though. I think that was the thing that probably threw me off the most about her, is that now, granted, her character would be tan because that would, involve, being outside and stuff with her job and whatnot. But it looked like she had just been on vacation and everything, as opposed to being a hard worker. It looked like she was just like, well, I guess I'll just get off of this thing. But she's called in. She's a specialist and all that kind of good stuff, and they get to meet all of their different co-conspirators and whatnot, including Mahershala Ali. Jonathan Bailey's kind of the secondary character. He's in his Dr. Henry Loomis, and I was like, Dr. Loomis, you cute little devils. Rupert Friend also in this as kind of the mastermind. He's one of the bad corporate guys at the end of the day. I know when you look at him, that's really going to shock you right there. But he's really good in what bit part that I say bit part. He's one of the major characters, but his bit in the movie is quite fantastic. Ed Skeirin plays another guy. He plays an Ed Skeirin type, which is to say that he's acerbic and all this kind of stuff. One of the nice things that I will say about this movie is that characters die, man. They're like, they will quickly show you on screen, hey, we're willing to sacrifice the people that we're putting in this movie. We're not just have it like, hey, here are your main characters. These are going to be the guys that we see all the way through the end. I think again, like the original Jurassic Park, when you have the lawyer die, you go, oh, anything can happen at this point. Any one of these characters that's along with this party and everything could die. And they actually take that and dial it up in this movie. And I think it's to the movie's advantage, very much so, because you're like, oh, someone could actually die. This isn't going to be a way that we skate all the way through. Now, you can imagine and assume, and you would probably be correct, that some of those characters will absolutely go all the way through. But it does feel like at least there's, a decent enough chance that some of them won't. So that much was very much surprising. And again, I think one of the reasons that this movie works is that we are kind of taking it out of the whole Jurassic Park theme and everything. There's no park that we're going to. It's kind of like a little bit of island here and there that's just like, oh, this is a bit that was ignored and blah, blah, blah. And we find out later that engine was kind of involved in some of this stuff, but they don't lean into it as much as you might suspect that they would. Mostly this is just kind of this rescue mission to go and get this live DNA sample and everything out of these 3 dinosaurs. And of course, it's really fun because it's one by sea, one by land, and then one by air. And you have to go through, it's like collecting Pokemons, or Dragon Balls. You're going around, you're collecting each one. It's a really interesting and cool way how they have it all set up and everything, where it's a kind of syringe on the end of this propeller that just, you shoot it right out of the gun, just harpoons the thing. It sucks the blood out. And once it's done, very cool, it shoots it up into the air, which then it parachutes down and everything later for them to be able to pick up. Very cool, very neat idea. It puts this whole kind of like, the movie itself kind of becomes a bit of a video game. And it becomes a video game also, like I said, when we're at this point where we're in the water. We're going after our first big giant dinosaur here, trying to get everything to go their way, trying to get their sample and everything. But you've got to be within like 30 meters or something. Got to be real close. It's Jaws. It's 100% Jaws. And the best part is you don't care. You enjoy that it's Jaws. You're looking at it and you're just like, oh my God, we're doing Jaws. We're doing Jaws. I don't care. And they're doing it well enough to do it. And that's what I love. We all love dinosaurs. And I'll tell you what, that was one of the fun parts about this, is that the dinosaurs themselves also, they had, I'm trying to remember I should have written it down. There's a little bit of alien within some of the dinosaurs. Plus, they also look like the big creature from Doom. The big kind of, I don't know what they're called. I never really played that game. But the big dudes in Doom kind of look like one of those, but like that plus dinosaur and, a little H.R. Giger action and stuff like that. That's what it seemed like to me, at least. Mahershala Ali is awesome. Absolutely awesome. I am so happy that he was in this movie. He brings a level of gravitas and acting to this movie that needs to be there. Scarlett Johansson's fine, but she's also, I don't know, it feels like she's kind of skating a little bit through it, which, you can't blame her. What are they asking the character to do? But Mahershala Ali is kind of just like, there's a scene where him and Scarlett Johansson are kind of gabbing back and forth and stuff. And he is absolutely just killing it. He's got just so much charisma and stuff on him. It's really a bitch that we aren't going to get this Blade probably ever at this rate. So I'm a little bit scared that will never actually, see the light of day. And the poor guy, got killed as Cottonmouth, like, halfway into, Luke Cage. And they were like, oh my God, we just killed the greatest actor that the Marvel villains have ever had here and whatnot. So like, Whoops-a-daisy. But ultimately, though, the movie will not wildly surprise you, I don't think. I don't think you'll watch it and go like, "Oh, I can't believe that these are the events that unfolded in front of me." But I think they will be done in an entertaining enough way that I think most people will be really, really excited to check it out. It makes it puts a little bit of extra breath into Star Wars. It makes it make or Star Wars into Jurassic Park. It's all the same thing. It's all Lucas Spielberg, right? Um, they found out what kind of makes it that and not have to be within the park itself. It focused on having an adventure. It focused on characters. There's a family that's involved with a story that kind of they're sailing on their boat and everything, and then the first, waterfish, as it were, dinosaur and everything, comes, knocks them out of their thing, and then our group of mercenaries goes back to pick them up and drag them along for the duration of the thing and everything. And they're great. Like the whole family there is really great. The dynamic with them is good. I like the kind of boyfriend that's coming in. He is kind of a dirt bag, but also he realizes he's a little bit of a dirt bag and stuff as well, which is kind of great. But then he has a little bit of an evolution, but then he doesn't. It's very much like what life would actually be. And I thought the littlest girl was a really great actor. Dad was super. I mean, I love it. I was shocked at how well this worked. It felt like we were trying to kind of, you know, throw this family in here to give kind of that. But again, we're stealing from Jurassic Park. We're stealing from the good stuff because you needed that family dynamic. When you had Alan Grant and the kids and stuff going around the park, that lent an extra little thing. That was the, I don't want to say it was the A or B story, but it was it was the other story, right? In the story of Jurassic Park. It was like, here's theirs in the compound and whatnot. So this is kind of that same way, but then those stories then collided and whatnot. There's references to the first movie so much, but not in a way that feels like they're going, remember this? It didn't feel like that to me. It felt like more of a proper homage and not a like, you remember this time? It didn't feel like member berries. It felt like we're repackaging it and doing what we should do with Star Wars, which is give us something similar in the vein of what we know, but also at the same time different. And I think that's where ultimately Jurassic World does do right. They give us just enough of the things that we like, your dinosaurs and all this kind of stuff. But ultimately, at the end of the day, is what Gareth Edwards knows is that it ain't about the creatures themselves. As much as so many of you nerds out there want to say like, oh, we want to see a Godzilla movie where there's no humans involved. Yes, the hell you do. You want a Godzilla movie with people involved. You want a Transformers movie with people involved. Believe me, you do. I know you think you don't. Oh, if there's no, trust me. You need that element in there because you need it to connect to. Because ultimately, the only way that you could have that is if they wrote those characters, if they wrote those, Transformers good enough to where you actually felt that you cared about them. And when's the last time they did that? That's right. The OG Optimus Prime in the animated movie. That's it. Outside of then, when did you do it? But that was only because you love Peter Cullen, because you're a little baby too. But ultimately, I would say Jurassic World Rebirth. I would probably give it it's a solid 3 stars, 3 out of 5 stars for me. It's okay. It's not amazing, but for a, let's see, 7th Jurassic Park movie, it could be a lot worse. Probably should be a lot worse for the 7th movie in a row. But ultimately, do you need to see it? I got to say, I saw it in the theater, and the theater I was in, the picture was fair. But the sound was terrible. The sound was super low. I literally, like, the second that the Universal logo and everything came up, I was like, nope, this is not going to be loud enough. So I ran to the front, gave him a quick little, hey, man, just super nice. Because, again, I've been a movie theater manager. I understand how things work. And I was like, hey, man, just, number 8, we got to turn that up. Didn't touch a thing, bro. Absolutely astounding. But yet not surprising at all. So, but yep, that's my review for Jurassic World Rebirth. I'd say give it a shot, man. If you like Jurassic Park and you've been down on the last couple of movies and everything, and you go in with what I would call managed expectations, I think there's a decent enough chance that Jurassic World might be up your alley. So check that out. Can we focus on this emoji? What is this emoji? Is that? Oh, we got an emoji in my face. Hot damn. Who did that? I love that. All right. I give this emoji 5 stars. Thank you, sir. Thank you. Appreciate you. Appreciate you. I'm looking. Hey, you're the first person on Kick that's not an actual bot and everything, so I got to appreciate you for that, buddy. Props to you. I at some point, I want to get in. Let me see if I can find it. I want to put the dirty baby into an emoji that you guys can use. That's not it. What's this? Hold on. There. That's my guy right there. I want this bad boy to be an emoji thing that people can put up. I don't know how the hell to do that shit. There you go, bud. It's right there. That's the one I want. That's our dirty baby mascot. Gracias. I'm going to get in there and have everybody break out the dirty babies when the show starts up. All right. I got to be honest with you, gang. I am shocked that when I went to go see this Jurassic World Rebirth, that I didn't get any kind of like spoilerific trailers or anything like that. There was nothing that kind of jumped out. I didn't see a Superman trailer, which I've been avoiding like the plague. I watched that first Superman teaser, and that was it. Didn't watch anything after that. So I'm looking forward to it. I really know nothing about it, so I'm kind of super stoked on that. Same goes with Fantastic Four. Saw the teaser trailer. Outside of that, don't really know. I'm cool with it though. I'm cool with not knowing. It makes me super excited to not know. But no trailer for that either. Trying to even remember what I saw. It wasn't much of anything, but it shows us sad state of affairs for the movies as they are today. All right. Well, let's get into our second part here, gang. Oh, let me get it right. Let me get right. Bring up our second one here so we can barrel through this bad boy. Because I got to go to the gym one more time. That's right. I do 2 a days because I'm fat as hell and sad inside. It's true, though. It's true. All right, gang. Hell yes, the dirty baby is in effect, everybody. Yes, dirty baby's in the chat. Congratulations to us. We did it, gang. We did it. Hell yeah. Listen, man, if nothing else happens tonight, I got that. That's the highlight of the stream right there. I could take that one and run. All right. It is time, ladies and gentlemen. I think I want to put on my glasses for this one. Put on the old spectacles. All right. Make sure this is up. Everything's looking cool. You know, sometimes you roll out and... Well, let me do this. Can't believe I wasn't doing this to begin with. That's a oof. Oof. That's all right though. That's for me. Oh, nope. There. Now we'll do it. We'll do it live. All right, everybody. It is time for more TikTok trash. That's right. I go to the TikToks there and grab the movie trash TikToks for us to check out here and everything. Listen, I've had a good time with it, and then I get to make other content on it and kind of recycle and redo the same old thing over and over again. It's called being resourceful in a lazy world where I only get, a handful of views. So if you'd like me to do better work, like, subscribe, and do more things because my God, you just got to get me a couple of views. That's all I'm asking. But let's get into it, man. We got a lot of TikToks to go through here. Let me see if I can get this in its
extra creatine, please. Yo, James Gunn.
Oh, hi, Zack Snyder.
Just saw your new cut of Superman and
okay. All right. So this, I want to preface this. I want to preface everything that we're kind of doing here today. Let me make sure I can get everything right. Oh my Lord. There we go. This is real. This is real. Apparently they were, James Gunn and Zack Snyder were on Rick and Morty and they voiced themselves. So I have no idea what we got here, but let's start from the beginning. There we go.
extra creatine, please. Yo, James Gunn.
Oh, hi, Zack Snyder.
Just saw your new cut of Superman, and word of advice, he's the Man of Steel, not the man of conversation.
Okay.
Do more shots of him punching, and here is a secret move. Start the punch at regular speed, and then you're gonna ramp it down.
It's not a f***ing secret! I'm sorry, Zack Snyder. I shouldn't be lashing out at you. Your biceps are the size of my head.
Yes, but so is my heart.
Here's what you need to know right now, ladies and gentlemen. I haven't met because he wasn't nice enough to meet me. But years ago, when the first Guardians of the Galaxy was out, James Gunn was at Dragon Con and would sneak into like parties and stuff like that. And so he kind of snuck in one of our, or just outside of one of our parties. And I was like, wait a minute. He was outside there the whole time? Thanks, guys. No one told us. We were having a good time though. But James Gunn, you wouldn't know it by looking at him. Very tall guy. Very tall. Well over 6 foot, that character. And what I do know about Zack Snyder's short. So I'm going to tell you this right now. Zack Snyder, losing that fight to James Gunn. Maybe James Gunn just isn't like, he's not like the most, rough and tumble comparatively and everything, but he's going to have a 6-inch reach on him. You know what I'm saying? It's unless James Gunn is like, is James Gunn a vegan? I know he's the animal lover, but I don't know if he's vegan. If he's vegan, we might have to go back to Zack Snyder on that one. What else we got?
Here is every horror movie I've rated a 10 out of 10 since the year 2000.
Okay.
Try to update this list as needed. 2024 happened to be a banner year for horror, in my opinion. So we're up to 9 movies. Let's run through them going backwards chronologically. Give me a like and give me a follow if you're looking for horror content year-round. And let me know in the comments what horror movies you would give a 10 out of 10 from the 2000s.
A 10 out of 10 horror flicks from the 2000s. I would definitely put a lot of the Alexander Aja stuff in there, like High Tension and his Hills Have Eyes remake. Would definitely have those two in there. 10 out of 10's like that's a tough one. That's a tough road to hoe for any movie, much less horror films. Horror films, that's almost even a harder thing to manage.
Both Nosferatu and The Substance from last year are 10 out of 10s. In fact,
I very much enjoyed The Substance. I thought it was fantastic. Really, really liked it. Nosferatu, I wanted to. It was just okay. Orlok's penis was too much.
I can't remember the last time there was 2 10 out of 10s in the same year. Before that, we have Dr. Sleep from 2019, which means
okay. The only reason I can't give Dr. Sleep a 10 out of 10 is Rebecca Ferguson's hat. Rebecca Ferguson's hat in that movie is atrocious, dog. That takes a whole star off right there.
means there was a 5-year drought with no 10 out of 10s. Then, of course, I have Hereditary, and you can argue with the wall Blair Witch
I
style
agree.
if you think otherwise.
I absolutely agree. Hereditary, when I saw it, like I heard people like, and they were really good, man. They didn't spoil anything. That they were just like, you got to go see this one. I was like, all right, let's check out what people are talking about. And you saw it, and you're like, wow, okay, I see where you're going. I see what you got. Yeah, fantastic. But I bought it on Blu-ray. I still have yet to rewatch it because it's not the funnest of movies. But I do want to get around to watching it again at some point. But at this point, we're on to 4Ks and stuff. Yeah.
Before that, I have It Follows. I wish we got more deconstructed slashers, because
Very great.
honestly, traditional slashers just bore me at this point. Trick or Treat, the greatest anthology.
I never really got into Trick or Treat. Everybody loves Trick or Treat. I need to give it a second chance. I think the first time I was watching it, maybe I was in a mood. I think my ex-wife was involved. I need to give it a second chance. Because Sackboy there is always like, ain't that what his name is, Sackboy? Or is that the guy from PlayStation? It's all the same shit.
Horror movie of all time. Of course, Let the Right One In, the only horror movie to ever make me openly sob in a theater.
Now, that is the poster for the Swedish one, everybody. Let's not get twisted.
And of course, Wreck, the greatest found footage movie of all time. And
of all time, you say? I'd say it's in contention. Contention for sure. All time? I didn't think on it.
Round the list out, all roads lead back to 28 Days Later.
Disagree. Snoozer. Don't care for it. What's next?
What's going on? I'm insufferable, and this is my Criterion haul.
Well, yeah. Listen, I'm only think I'm better than you because I know I'm better than you. Or is it that No. I know I'm better, therefore I don't have to worry about it.
First up, we've got Portrait of a Lady on Fire. This movie's great if you want to be performative or seem feminist.
Yes, correct. I saw that movie in the theater. I liked it well enough, but at the same time, too, the things that this man just said are 1,000% correct. Fine enough movie, but like the way it ended and everybody was just like, okay, guys, that was all right. But y'all just like, they were gay. Okay. You get extra brownie points for people pretending to be gay for a while. Yeah.
It works great, too, if you're trying to be performatively feminist. Really enjoy this one. Everything looks great. Second up, we have Takeout by Sean Baker. And I don't know much about this movie. I just know I'm really supposed to like Sean Baker. So I'm going to do my best to convince myself that I like it, no matter what.
I'd say that's correct. And Sean Baker can be an acquired taste for sure. The movies he does aren't necessarily fun. You're not rousing a good time there. It's not a Steven Spielberg film. The Sean Baker film isn't. So he ain't wrong.
Finally, we have Sound of Metal. This movie's great if you're trying to seem super nuanced. Maybe you like music. Maybe you play the drums or you're hard of hearing. Otherwise, I could only afford 3 of these movies today, despite it being 50% off. Thanks for watching.
Okay, all of these things are absolutely accurate. I don't know that, I'm going to hit the sale soon here for the Barnes & Noble 50% off Criterion sale. I know I'm going to hit it soon. And I don't know that I'm going to buy more than 3 titles this entire month. So I understand. I get that. Sound of Metal, though, is okay. It's okay. Riz Ahmed's good. Good enough film, but I don't know that I was just like, ooh, yeah, this is, got to have this on Criterion. It's all right.
Always ask a man on a first date who his favorite movie director is, and I can help you analyze his response. This is...
Yes. She is back again. Let's go.
Based on 40 years of researching the men, so feel free to shout, but know that if you do, you are shouting at science. If he says Steven Soderbergh, he's good at the middle-aged man sports like cornhole, and his good humor and his good sportsmanship when he loses are incredibly hot.
Okay, I will tell you this. Steven Soderbergh is not a good loser. I can tell you that right now. There's one thing I know about Steven Soderbergh is there's a little underpinning of anger in Steven Soderbergh. He's mad. He big mad. So I don't know that I completely concur with that one, because I think Steven Soderbergh deep down inside got a lot of anger issues.
If he says Clint Eastwood, he throws little tantrums when he loses, and he likes to stay mad for like 3 days after you think an argument has been resolved. If he says Ron Howard, all his friends are married and he's good at grocery shopping.
I really like Splash. That guy's good at grocery shopping. I can tell you that right now.
If he says Wes Craven, he would happily grocery shop at a gas station, and he hasn't been able to cry since his parents got divorced. If he says
Oh, how you feel about that, Wes Craven fans? Horror Hounds? Hit a little too close to home, does it? You know it's true. You did it last night, didn't you? Going to 7-Eleven, getting that $5 pizza. You got to make that poor person go back there and heat it up. Giving it to you, bringing it back, and you're only going to eat half of it because you're going to either pass out or gag out because it ain't no good. I don't know it. Hypothetically, something like that might happen.
Jon Favreau, he cries a lot. If he says James Gunn, he likes rocket pops and he drinks moderately, if at all, even on holidays.
I think she thinks that about James Gunn. I bet that's true. That seems right. I feel like I could see James Gunn having like a glass of white wine or something, but also enjoying a one of those bomb pops. Yeah.
If he says Jim Jar Mush, he uses a beard trimmer on his private parts. If he
Man, I remember the first thing I did after I saw Ghost Dog was, man, I got to trim my balls. I just got inspired, okay?
says Charlie Kaufman, he can only love the idea of you, so don't spend the next 2 years trying to prove to him the vividness of your own experience. Fair. And if he says Richard Linklater, do not fall for the magnetism. Get as far away as you can from that insufferable prick. Hope this was helpful.
Whoa! What's Richard Linklater catching bullets for? What'd you do, Richard Linklater? My word. Oh, man. Rough. Wasn't it?
Hey, what's up, TikTok fam? This weekend I watched 2 films. The first one was The Island of Dr. Moreau.
Which one?
And the second one was Get Out. Now, these films are very different.
I'll say. One was a notorious blunder. The other is a fairly revered film. So, yeah, very different.
And I'm not here to bash or to praise, but something that I found interesting was that even though these films are so different, I find a little, like a small little similarity, because in The Island of Dr. Moreau, they're on this island of Dr. Moreau.
So it's not just a clever name. All right, you say so.
And they're trapped. They can't get out, and they're under like this spell where you gotta watch the film. And I just watched the movie Get Out for the first time. And
all right, what I need you to do is I need you to turn that music up a little bit more, because it's not drowning out your voice enough. Turn up the music more. Turn your voice down more. You know what? Get out of the frame, too. I keep working my way back to you, baby. Whatever the hell's playing back there. Do that.
And also, they're in this place. Sorry if I'm spoiling. They're in this place, but it's like they're under this spell, under this trance. Anyways.
I don't think you spoiled anything there, boss.
Those are the films that I watched. I'm not going to say any more because I don't want to spoil it.
Who can remember what films he just said? He just said them. I don't remember.
for anyone who may have not watched the films yet, but go check out whatever movies you want to watch. I just want to know now, what movie should I watch next? What do you suggest should be my next film?
Music ran out. You're
have
done.
a good day. Peace.
You're done. And I want to hope you can listen, I planned out most of the video except for the end. I got here and now I'm a little scared. Just end it. Just end the video. I know I can edit it out, but I'm not gonna.
We're officially halfway through the year, so
Oh, he's back already. Bet.
here are my top 10 favorite horror movies so far in 2025.
Here's the thing, man. 2025 has been a good year for horror films. I haven't watched a lot of the streaming content and stuff that's out. I'm sure there's plenty of new stuff that way, but a lot of the horror films that I've seen in theaters have been surprisingly decent this year. And again, I've said it and I will say it again and again. Horror is kind of like the genre right now. If you want to see something that's going to be interesting and different than the same old boring crap that you've been seeing over and over and over again. So let's see what we got.
And if we share any of the same top 3, you owe me a follow.
I already follow you, damn it.
Looky-Loo will not be for everyone. It's a slow and uncomfortable watch. But that is by design. One of the most unsettling found footage movies we've seen in years. The Ugly Stepsister is more than just a commentary on beauty standards. It's also a whimsically dark fairy tale that veers off the road into grotesque body horror. Best wishes to all just goes to show that you should never visit your grandparents.
Well, I only got one left, so I don't be seeing him that much. I should, but that's just, we won't talk about it.
Don't even check up on him. A brutally violent descent into unhinged madness. I think if you are a Cronenberg purist, The Shrouds will land with you. It's not an onslaught of body horror. An exploration of grief and loss through the lens of advancing technology.
Let me ask you this. Is it about weird sex stuff? Because I got to be honest with you. For the last couple years here, that's all David Cronenberg's been doing. He's giving us, hey, I like weird sex stuff. And you're like, okay. It's weird. It's weird. It's weird stuff. You're like, oh, yeah, no, I got you. You said it the first time. Weird sex. That's what you like. Uh-huh. Is there something else that goes along with that, sir? And he's like,
Volcanosadora is a supremely dark horror comedy, and it's my favorite indie horror movie of the year. This is
I can't even find that. Look at that. How do you spell that? You metal people, I swear.
like if In a Violent Nature was directed by Harmony Korine. I laughed, I cried, I was traumatized. Final Destination Bloodlines is the horror movie that could, staying true to the heart of this franchise while still incorporating new and refreshing storylines.
It was interesting. It's like it's one of those. You thought the Final Destination had run its course. 5 and 6 were real bad, but then you get a 7, and you're like, well, shit, this one's not bad.
Not to mention the Tony Todd scene is one of the most emotional send-offs we've seen in horror.
So good.
There's no way to talk about 28 years later without pissing some people off. I am squarely in the camp that loved it. Regardless of what you think of it, this is a 1 of 1 when it comes to originality and making bold filmmaking choices.
Those are definitely words that you could use to describe that. I did like 28 Years Later probably more than any of the other 28 movies. Get it? 28. I didn't love it though, but I did like it more than the other ones. That's not saying much, but it is what it is. And the last bit, what it was trying to say, I guess, ultimately made more sense to me. But I think that's also a shit. Who was the writer of the my brain is taking a nap on me.
This is my top 3, and we start with Companion.
Companion's great.
Unlike some people, this was not
Real
spoiled
great.
for me, which should really be a warning to everyone else.
Yes. I didn't have it spoiled for me either. And when it happened, it was just like, oh, wow, what a cool idea for a movie. I mean, so good. But again, you're probably going to have it spoiled for you if you haven't already.
To avoid trailers whenever possible. An incredibly fun, fast-paced sci-fi horror thriller. Last year we had The Coffee Table, the year before that we had When Evil Lurks, and this year the feel-bad movie of the year is Bring Her Back.
Yeah, you are not, oh my God, and that picture alone right there, what you're seeing right there, oh, if you've seen the movie, you know how, oh my God, oh boy. Oh boy, listen, man, don't let no kid take a knife out of your hand. What are you doing? What are you doing? Skeeve just thinking about it, dude.
The more I've marinated on Bring Her Back's concept, the more I love it. There could only be one, and Sinners will be hard to top.
Listen, I like Sinners. I think it is wildly overrated. Wildly overrated. Very good. Very good. There's a part in it I do think that sucks. Just one part that I think sucks. Everything else is fine in it. And it's a good film, but it's like at the same time too, I go, you people, like, I'm not including Pat in this one, but like a lot of folks, it just feel like are probably starved for movies. They haven't seen a lot of good stuff. So like when they see something that's halfway decent, they're like, oh my God, this is amazing. I'm like, it's good. It's not amazing. It is good though. It is very good.
Vampire movie, part musical appreciation, part Southern gangster movie. And the music montage scene will just go down as one of the best in cinematic history.
Wow. Holy smokes. That was the thing you liked. That was my least favorite. That was what I was just talking about when I said I hate one thing about it. That was it. The kind of like, here's music throughout all of time and stuff like that. It felt forced and kind of corny. I didn't like that. I thought that was a big misstep on the movie's part. On Ryan Coogler's part. He's it's him at the end of the day. I thought that part kind of sucked, but a lot of people liked it. Don't know why.
Certainly one that has stuck with me ever since I saw it in theaters.
What stuck with you though? What do the vampires look like? Tell me right now. You don't know. Yes, any recommendations? Always looking for good horror films. Yeah, those top 3 were good films. I would definitely say that. Bring Her Back is like amazing. Like I was just gripping my chair the entire time, just like, whoa. It is so uncomfortable, the things that are going on in that movie. Yeah, The Final Destination was great. Final performance from Tony Todd, and absolutely just a beautiful way for him to go out. He's like addressing the camera and everything, which is ultimately just addressing the fans of the series and stuff. And you can tell that he is kind of, at the last stages of life and stuff like that. And for somebody that clearly, sorry for the lack of thing, but does know his final destination is coming up here. He's about to get off the ride soon, and he's clearly aware of it. The speech that he gives makes it all that much more powerful. And it seemed like a big giant thank you to all the fans and stuff over the years. And it was very heartfelt. It was good. So I definitely recommend the Final Destination Bloodlines. What next?
Always ask a man who his favorite movie director is, and I can help you analyze his response. This is based on 40 years of researching the men, so I hope you're in the mood for
we are in the mood as per usual.
Science. If he says Roman Polanski, he's really close with his favorite niece. If he says
I will let you read into that what you will.
Andrei Tarkovsky, you just made his year by asking him this question. Be warned that he never fully falls out of love once he's been in love. If he
Okay.
says Werner Herzog, he has a dusty box full of equipment from his film photography phase, and he thinks that crow's feet are kind of hot. If he
sometimes the crow's feet.
Says David O. Russell, he will destroy you. If he says Noah Baumbach, you will destroy him. If he says Penny Marshall, you can cancel all your waxing appointments. If he says
I like she's correct about so many of the ones, but the ones where she's talking about if they have a favorite female director, if that's their favorite director is a female, oh my gosh, it's always on point, man.
As Rob Reiner, he calls Target Target, and even though he loves ball and chain jokes, he actually worships his lady. If he says Robert Rodriguez, that's a gentle, hairy one. He would rather die than raise his voice to a woman.
Somebody doesn't know all of the. I mean, listen. Maybe Rose McGowan's crazy. Maybe I don't know. I'm just saying. There's we'll see. Who knows?
If he says Billy Wilder, he wants you to call him a bad boy. If he says Ingmar Bergman, he wants you to call him a smart boy. If he says Harmony Korine, he wants you to call him a good boy. If he says Spike Jonze, he thinks like David Foster Wallace. So you're going to have to pull him out of a lot of mental footnotes and keep him away from guns. If he says Christopher Guest, his social battery only lasts like 90 minutes, so you'll know he's in love with you if he wants to hang out for longer than that. And if he says Baz Luhrmann, he will happily hold your purse and wait outside the dressing room for you, but know that while you're changing your clothes, he's on a messaging app conducting an emotional affair. Hope this was helpful.
She didn't say the other part. An emotional affair with another man.
I collect popcorn buckets because, I don't know, my dad never loved me or something.
A lot of popcorn buckets out here. Let's see what my man's opinion is on them.
And they had this one on the Alamo Draft House website. There was a Superman one. And I was like, I don't really need that. I'm not a huge Superman fan. But then at the bottom it said, only 18 left. Buy now or forever regret it. I thought that was a bit dramatic. I ain't no FOMO mofo. I'm going to be just fine. Then later I checked the website again. It was sold out. And I suddenly felt myself spiraling into a phantom zone of regret so powerful that even Superman himself couldn't save me from it.
Poor guy, I know the feeling, man. Do you know how often I walked by the Indiana Jones on Steelbook 4K? Just going, nah. They'll have that. They'll always have Raiders in Steelbook. It's one of the most popular movies of all time. They'll just keep printing a whole bunch of these. No, they will not. I only got 2 out of the 4 movies in 4K Steelbook. Ugh. I feel like a peasant, dude. What we got here?
Everybody's all physical media this, physical media that.
Yeah.
You know, I love buying movies, music, whatever.
Mm-hmm.
Until it comes down to actually buying them.
What's
Like,
that mean?
I will seriously be filled with joy and so to be bubbly and ecstatic when I'm like, oh my God, I'm gonna go buy some new movies, I'm gonna go buy some new CDs.
All right.
Boom, 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 boom. Then I gotta narrow things down.
Well, that is life.
Now what am I gonna do?
You got to make some decisions, man. Criterion sale comes in, you got 50% off. You know, most of us don't have unlimited funds. So you got to, find out some priorities.
Because I can't buy the whole store. I only have a certain amount of money. And
Oh, I see what he's saying. You want to rob stores. We should rob stores. Let's rob some stores. I think we could get a lot of money that way.
then it becomes hell. And then I have to give up something that I think I'm going to love or that I truly love. What is this? Why must it be like this?
That's life. That's what all the people say. That's all I got for you.
The Matrix is my favorite movie. It was made by the Wachowski sisters, but at the time they were brothers.
All right, this should be good. This should be good. What's going on? I don't want to get too hot topicy, too hot buttony. But let's see what happens.
Do you guys know this? They transitioned. Great. Happy for them. So they were men. They made The Matrix 1. And then they transitioned to be women, and they made a lot of dog shit. Okay, that's fine. That's fine. But now, I just found out they've gotten nominated into the top 10 female global directors list. Female, okay? How about maybe eat my whole ass? How about that? Because if they had been women back in the 90s when they pitched The Matrix, no way was that movie getting made. If they had been women walking to Miramax, okay, you guys be Miramax, I'll be them. Okay, Miramax, okay.
Did they pitch to Miramax? I mean, it's a Warner Brothers picture. No, they would have pitched to Joel Silver. This is my gift and curse.
Hi, thank you so much for seeing us. Thank you. This is my sister. Hi, I'm her sister. We do everything together. Okay, so here's the hold my hand. Thank you. Okay, so we want to make a movie. It's about a guy. And he's in like a computer simulation. Okay, he's a hacker, and he's really cute. Maybe like Keanu Reeves. I don't know. Okay. Anyway, do you want to say the rest? Sure, I'll say the rest. Okay, so he's a computer hacker in a simulation. In fact, the whole world is a simulation. Miramax would have been like, hey, I got an idea. How about you two simulate my dick in your mouth? Okay. I got a couple red pills for you, baby girls. Line up. All right.
It would have been Joel Silver, but yes, that's probably correct. Would you ever consider doing a watch party where we watch a movie with you at the same time? Maybe we could use chat or Discord to call it HMP Movie Night. I think we could do something like, outside of like your YouTube and Twitches and all that kind of good stuff. Yeah, I think something like that could be possible, and I think would be very fun. I'll float that by the boys and see if we might want to do that. And listen, I think that'd be fun. I think it would be fun. What's next?
I was at the movies tonight and I left early because one of the worst possible things imaginable in life happened.
This is always going to intrigue me. As someone who has had nothing but a life full of horrible, horrible movie-going experiences, but yet I still remain a giant movie fan, I can relate to this. So let's see what he's got.
I got my ticket for the movie, and when I got my ticket, the movie theater was completely empty. Completely empty. I was the only person in there, and during the last preview, somebody else came into the theater, and they got the seat right next to mine. Right next to mine. Like, touching my seat. That should be a crime. That got to be some sort of, like, stalking. That should get you on some sort of list. That's insane. That's like being in an empty bathroom and you're using the urinal and a guy comes in and uses the one right next to you.
Weird.
What are we doing? Get your lonely ass away from me and go sit somewhere else. That's crazy.
You are not alone. I am here with you. Let me tell you something, brother. I had this exact same situation happen to me on Christmas Day. First showing, empty theater, no one's there. I purchased my ticket at the box office. Gentleman came up behind me. Not a single ticket outside. Mine was the sole ticket that was there. This man bought a ticket right beside me, sharing an armrest with me. Christmas Day, we are the only two people in this movie theater. Now, I screwed up because I went to the wrong theater at first. I didn't look at my ticket stub correctly. So I went to, and I was just like, why is the movie not started yet? We should have some previews or something. And I was like, oh, shit, I'm in the wrong theater. So I go to the right theater, and this guy is sitting right beside the seat. And so I was like, I'm not going to sit there. And I didn't. I didn't sit there, man. I sat in another seat, and then someone came in, and they had bought the seat that I was sitting in, and they were like, hey, man. And I was like, oh, I'm sorry. They're like, this guy's being a weirdo. And they just were like, no, you sit there. We'll go up to another row. And it was fine. But it happens, dude. It happens. People are psychopaths. People are dumb. We live in a world of just wild, crazy narcissists who only think about themselves. They looked at that and they were just like, this one's in, like, because my guess is my man here picked pretty much a middle seat somewhere right in the center of the entire theater. And they were like, oh, that's where I want to sit. I want to sit in the middle. I'm going to sit right beside him. That's how psychopaths think.
Christopher Nolan, some would say, is the 21st century filmmaker.
What do we mean by that?
The most successful and significant maker of movies in this century.
Whoa! Whoa! Wait a minute. How long this century? So the 21st century. So the 21st century. What else has he got? I don't know. I'm trying to figure out how he's determining all this. Just box office success and the fact that, people think his stuff is good. Is that enough to make him the best director of the 21st century?
Do you agree with that suggestion?
Certainly of movie culture as we know it now, and as we have been marveling.
Influential in as much as some of that, I suppose.
That it, it has died many deaths this century, and then seems to be back, and he's played a big part in bringing it back. So maybe signature is the right word.
I think that because of the way that he was kind of narrativized as Spielberg meets Kubrick,
Sure.
that is who this guy is.
Yeah,
it's like, imagine if Kubrick directed an Indiana Jones movie. I just don't see it that way. And I think I've actually come to understand better like who he is and what he represents in movie culture, because he's not like either of those guys.
No.
And it's useful to be removed from that period in time and look back at the movies.
Did we just have a discussion to not have the discussion? Hell of a clip there, Ringer.
Can someone please explain to me why having an actual popcorn bucket look like a popcorn machine actually works?
It's okay. Listen, I like the idea. I'm a fan of the idea of these popcorn buckets. I like the idea that they bring in or have the ability to bring in extra revenue, hopefully to the actual theaters themselves. Hopefully they get those at enough rate. I don't really know what those exchange things are. They just give them how all of it works out monetarily. But this could easily be a thing that would help, generate theaters more money. I don't know what this thing costs. I don't know if she's going to say it or not. But like, for example, the Galactus popcorn bucket that's coming out, I don't know if you've seen this. It's going to cost $80. It looks huge, but like if that's $80, this one's got to be at least $50, right? Look how big it is. I mean, it doesn't look it holds a boatload of popcorn, but like it's gonna be like that, 1.5 feet, something 18 inches, something maybe. I don't know.
When I saw this, I was like, that's actually kind of smart. You have the actual popcorn machine, and all they did was incorporate Superman. They probably could have done this with almost any type of movie that has ever come out. Ironically enough, it really works out for Superman considering.
Okay. You going to put terms of endearment? Popcorn bucket? You going to do Silence of the Lamb popcorn bucket, but do it with this? You're just going to put Silence of the Lamb on so it could just be done with anything? Is that what we're saying? Come on now.
He's breaking the glass with his laser beam and heating up the popcorn. I really want to know what the measurements are on this. Ever since we had Galactus shown for Fantastic Four, who knows how big these popcorn.
They're not big. This one's not big. I mean, just like if the proportions are correct, which I would guess that they are, this doesn't hold shit. And that's one of the big problems with these things and everything is that they are nice, cool, big, like, ooh, look at me. I'm eating out of a fancy popcorn thing. But they don't hold anything. They don't hold much popcorn at all. So much so that like if they're not handing you an extra tub and just
buckets are going to get. However, this is actually pretty cool. I have seen a video about it. The top actually opens up and you can just reach in and grab your popcorn. And then on the edge there, you see Superman standing, so you won't actually lose him and he does not detach from it. This is definitely a really cool
he'll
piece.
be detaching from it. Don't think he won't. He going to be detaching from that. Break right the hell off.
If you think about it, you could probably use this for any type of item. You could put little collectibles in there. You could put popcorn. I mean, popcorn stays good forever. Or you could simply just leave it empty. I think it would be super cool to have something in there while you have this on display. Like I've said before, all these movie theaters are going wild with these popcorn buckets. Let me know in the comments down below what you guys think about this one.
Tell me about all the things. Just go ahead and do it.
You have to have one.
This voice just shut up at the end. Who knows?
So there's a lot of Brian De Palma talk going on right now on Twitter.
Is there? That's a wild thought to be had. I don't spend a lot of time on Twitter, but I like the idea that Twitter is supposedly talking about Brian De Palma a whole bunch. I like your premise. Let's go.
And I'm going to just say this. As someone who's only seen 3 of his films, maybe I'm not the guy to be saying things, blah, blah, blah.
Okay.
But having seen those 3 films, all 3 being absolutely brilliant movies, one being in like my top 10 with Blowout.
Very good. All right, excellent. I was hoping that was going to be one of your top 3 there. Perfect. Beautiful.
If you talk anything negatively about Brian De Palma's career as a whole, you're an idiot.
Agreed. Here's the thing, though. Here's what you're sadly going to find out is that a lot of the later De Palma work is not super great. I would say the last really great De Palma film was Femme Fatale. Femme Fatale was fantastic. You got your Antonio Banderas. You got your Rebecca Romaine. Good flick, man. Classic De Palma kind of stuff. Sexy crime. Beautiful. Beautiful film.
One for IMAX, please.
Oh, you know that's like a whole other experience, right?
It's the IMAX experience. It's what's called the IMAX experience, yeah.
Okay. It's a full audio visual experience with immersive sound, precision on the video. It's amazing.
It really is immersive.
That's the same guy. Yeah. It's
No,
immersive.
no,
bro.
it's
I'm
the
telling you.
Are you guys trying to get a gig from AMC? What's going on here?
You haven't seen the IMAX intro, have you?
How crazy could an intro be? Oh my.
This might have been the case 15 years ago. 15 years ago, I could like this was the experience that we had. But today, most of them IMAXs suck, bro.
Greatest day of my life. Welcome to IMAX, buddy.
If that was a sponsored ad, I'm gonna be mad. I don't think I read a thing that said sponsored in there anyway, or what, you're just trying to get free work from them. Shame.
You hate movies. You
What?
do. Well,
No,
let
I
me
don't. That's
explain.
why I've got a whole podcast about it. That's why I'm doing this right now. These are all movie TikToks. How can you say I hate movies? Let you explain. All right.
So art is something that we should be seeking out. We should develop our own tastes for what we like and don't like. And whatever the media says or whatever the marketing says, we should be looking for art on our own. Let me put it in terms of the record shop, for example. Go in, and the end caps were the marketing. That's where music was being pushed to us as consumers. But we would choose a genre that we like, and we would go into that genre and deep dive into it. It's the same for the old video store method. You would have the new release section pushing all the new stuff, and that's the marketing. We would go to the horror section, or we would go to the comedy section, or we would go to the anime section, and we would deep dive, and we would look for what's there and pick things out that seemed to fit our tastes. Sometimes it would be a winner, sometimes it would be a loser.
I've yet to really see how I'm hating movies, but okay.
But that's part of the adventure of art. You'll develop a list of film critics like me that will tell you about movies that maybe are poorly marketed to help you find them. You will go to your movie theater app, whether it's AMC or Regal or whatever, and just look at what's showing or read the description and maybe give something a chance. You'll deep dive on movie websites and just look at other movies that aren't being well marketed or aren't falling into the algorithm, but could be good. You'll go to an art house theater and give something a
Why do I think I know where this is kind of going?
chance that no one's talking about, because maybe you get to discover something that you otherwise would never have known about. We don't go to an algorithm and let that algorithm tell us what to look at in an art museum. Only look at these paintings because they're the ones that people are talking.
One could argue that how the museum itself is curated is them forcing you to look at things in a particular way, where they decide, if it's kind of a, like a building that you kind of snake through and stuff like that, like they very often are, where they put things in relationship to other items and stuff like that, where it's meant to kind of start you on this journey that you go through their collection, stuff like that. So I don't know that that's necessarily an apt comparison.
About. No, that's nonsense. But if you're one of these people that looks at a movie like Elio, for example, and says, oh, it was very poorly marketed.
Yeah, it's poorly marketed. I didn't know what that movie is about. That they didn't. Did you guys see any advertising for Elio? Like Disney's had a couple of problems where they've been putting out movies, but you've only heard about the movies when they bomb. And it's like, do you guys even give a shit about advertising to people? I don't know.
It was very poorly marketed.
Yeah.
I still saw it because I'm still seeking out art.
Oh no! Okay, listen. This would be a very valid argument if it wasn't a Disney property. The fact that you're just like, oh, I went and saw Elio because I'm seeking out art. Come on, bro. That's not you going to an independent cinema and seeing something that, you know, that you're not seeing, that you wouldn't have seen advertised in a newspaper back in the day. You're watching a Disney Pixar film, my guy. Let's not pretend like you're running down the halls of high art over here. It's bean mouth animation.
I'm still a fan. I still love movies. If you only see movies because an algorithm is pushing it to you, or
but so you only see a movie because Disney didn't do a good enough job serving up what their movie was about, so you decided to go watch it. That's an interesting take.
Marketing is pushing it to you, and you're not seeking out things that you think you will like, and then you don't really love movies.
I mean, like, you guys have heard me. You guys have heard me talk all the time. I like, for the most part, I don't watch trailers. I reviewed Jurassic World Rebirth. I didn't see trailer 1. Literally not a second of that film did I see. I saw the poster with Scarlett Johansson. That's it. I knew nothing. So do I like movies more? Maybe I do. Listen, I like putting me up on a pedestal. Don't get me wrong. But maybe I like movies more. Maybe I just like movies more because I seek out things just like, literally, for example, what do you call it? The movie, it was the Blumhouse movie that just came out, Drop. Yes, Drop. Drop came out. I didn't know anything about Drop. I heard somebody say, "Hey, I just saw Drop. It's the new movie from Blumhouse." And I said, that was it. That was all I needed. Was like literally just to like, hey, Blumhouse put out a movie, and I know what that studio does. I know what kind of to expect from that studio. So I went in, blind. And you know what? I enjoyed it. And I think had I known anything about that movie, I don't think I would have enjoyed it nearly as much. Am I the ultimate film fan? Is this what we're figuring out now? I don't know.
The way you say you do. And maybe that's a hot take. Let me know in the comments what you think.
I think you're wrong. I think that I think not enough people are checking out things. I think that may be the problem, is that people aren't looking at things that are. I don't even think they're looking at anything. I don't even think people look at Rotten Tomatoes much anymore, comparatively.
An adult drama, a 2-hour movie about adults talking, will not make a nickel in a movie theater anymore. And the saddest part about that, where I think your theory is right, and where I
see, that's wrong. That's wrong. Parasite made money. Parasite was not only a movie that didn't have a whole bunch of action or anything in it. It was a whole bunch of, people talking in a foreign language. Won Best Picture. People will go see things. They need to be marketed correctly. They need to be sold correctly. And we need to learn to put a higher priority on being artistically diverse. We need to put the thoughts in our head that we need to see more than just action films. That the movies are made for things that are outside of that, big bombastic kind of thing. We need to learn that. We used to have those films. Those films used to be plentiful. There used to be plenty of films for adults. It was a nice way for adults to get out, where you didn't have to go, like, you left the kids at home and you didn't go watch a superhero movie. You watched a movie that adults would watch. We don't have that today.
Believe in this is
but it's only because we have it. It's just like people aren't marketing it. They aren't making it out for people because they don't know how to sell that to people. I think it all comes down to bad marketing these days.
That movie was in a theater. Adults are more likely to pay to see a movie and sit in the dark room with no phone than a 20-year-old or a teenager. They don't want to sit in the room for 2 straight hours. They definitely don't want to not be on their phone for 2.
Oh my God. What was I went to see? It was, whatever it was. Just recently I saw something and there were kids in there, man. And they were bouncing up and down. And I say kids, I mean like 11, 12 years old. They were just like, they were being little turds, man. I hated it, dude. Yeah, you can't just take the phones away, lock them up. I've said it before and I'll say it again. Lock the phones up.
Hours. It's like a spiritual death to a teenager today to not have their phone on for 2 straight hours.
Lock them up.
I'm here with John. This pool right here, I'm going to show you the pool, used to belong to Verna Fields. Spielberg had shown a cut of the movie to an audience, and it went well.
It was the highest testing movie in Universal's history. And he just, believed it needed just one more big scare. He spent, I'm told, roughly $3,000 of his own money to throw some milk in the pool. And they shot the jump scare where Ben Gardner's head pops out of the boat.
The jump scare that you could argue changed movies forever, right here. This pool house is where Verna Fields set up shop.
She was raising her 2 kids.
Editing it out there, yeah. Out by the pool house.
Express, Paper Moon, Medium Cool, What's Up Doc. We've recently done a little bit of remodeling. This was all like wood paneling back in 1974 when she was cutting it.
This is where like Spielberg and everyone would just come by and...
Spielberg, Lucas, Bogdanovich, all of them. That door leads to my office where I am an editor now.
Is that not the most fitting thing in the world? Awesome. Now an editor lives in this space.
That's why I got the house.
John also adds that the neighbor is the neighbor from 50 years ago who
looked over in the middle of the night and was like, what the hell are they shooting over there? A year later, she went outside and took pictures with her son, with Verna, before she went to get her Oscar for Best Editing.
Huh.
Thank you so much for allowing me to come in here and show people movie history right here.
That's friggin' awesome, man. While at the movie theater today, I saw a trailer for Jaws. They're bringing Jaws out back on the big screen August 28th, I believe it is, if memory serves off the top of my head. I got excited, dude. I'm not going to lie to you because it was a good trailer. It was kind of a modern style trailer, but using everything from Jaws. And I'm not going to lie, dude. I could hear people in the audience excited. Like the trailer, like, because it's a new style trailer and everything. Because the original trailer for Jaws ain't going to do a whole lot for today's modern audiences. But today's modern audience definitely responded to that Jaws 50th anniversary trailer because it was kind of done in that, like I said, new kind of modern style and everything. And they need to do more stuff like this. They need to reissue films, put together nice, awesome, modern trailers for them to just sell the stupid movie-going public. Let them understand, hey, this is what this movie is. Make it seem cool. And I promise you, if you put the right movies together, people will go to see them and they will have a good time because you've put together a good film. But do it with trailers, man. Put a new trailer on something. Throw it back out there. Watch people actually go. I'm really hoping that this Jaws 50th anniversary will do fantastic. So do go to that when it happens, people. Very cool.
I like Back to the Future.
Back to the Future.
Back to the Future.
Back to the Future.
I think I understand why I got this one because everybody is putting one of my movies that would be on my letterbox, which you can see in the show notes there and everything. If you just kind of go through and scroll on that. Back to the Future is in my top 4 letterbox. So all of these people, I would say, we're all in good company.
To the Future.
Back to the Future. I was obsessed with Michael J. Fox.
Back to the Future, when I was a kid, it was like, okay, cinema.
Whoa. So Back to the Future for me is a timeless, rewatchable film. It's got a great soundtrack. It's quotable. It's culty. I grew up on it.
One of my favorite stories is Back to the Future. It's just so entertaining and it's out of the box. I have to watch that movie once a year. I get something different every time I watch it because of my experience making a film.
Right now I'm in a reel because I've got a bunch of kids. I'm in like a real nostalgic mood to bring them back to the movies I saw when I was a kid in the 80s. And so we just watched Back to the Future with them, which is like one of my all-time favorites. They just absolutely loved it.
첫 번째가 Back to the Future인 것 같아요. 네, 저는 그 영화를 불법 복제된 베타 테이프로 처음 봤어요. 저희 친구집이었거든요. 너무 재밌어서 그 친구집에 몇 번을 가가지고 그 영화를 계속 다시 봤던 것 같아요. 그렇게 영화를 재밌게 보고 막 그렇게 막 했던 적은 처음이었던 것 같아요.
Back to the Future. This is probably mine and Matt Flannery, my DP's, one of our all-time favorite films. We talk about it endlessly. I've owned it on a ridiculous amount of formats.
Oh, yeah.
It helps that it keeps getting released all the time, and now with another special edition, now with some more extra features and everything.
And I will continue to keep buying them. There's Back to the Future, Jaws, all of these I will continue to keep buying. Just keep putting them out. I'll pay for it. I don't care.
Single time I just have to get it. That end sequence with Doc Brown and the wires trying to connect them. Every single time I watch it, I keep thinking he's not going to make it in time. So it's the power of the filmmaking in that sequence, which is so masterful. I'm on edge even watching.
The editing in that scene in particular is really, really top notch.
It for the 500 millionth time. So yeah.
One of my favorite, it is Back to the Future is my desert island movie. If I had taken one movie to a desert island to watch over and over again, Back to the Future is that movie.
Breaking news. This is the win that Hollywood's been waiting for. California just doubled down to bring productions back to the state. Hi, it's producer Patrick bringing you the latest in the ever-evolving film and TV industry. The California State Legislature has officially approved a record-shattering $750 million annual film and TV tax credit, more than double the previous cap. The Assembly approved a budget trailer bill on a vote of 64-1, while the Senate passed it 31-3. It's a lifeline for a struggling industry. Over 17,000 entertainment jobs have disappeared since 2022. And Los Angeles saw its second lowest production year on record. Other states and countries have been winning the content war with aggressive, uncapped incentives, while California's outdated cap left producers unsure and often unwilling to stay. Now, the new program hopes to change that. Supporters say this bill is about saving local jobs, keeping crews working, and preventing the slow collapse of California's cultural.
It will do none of those things. California is screwed. California is screwing itself. California is ruining its own business. Its own number one export, you're tanking. You've been tanking it for years. And you think that like this $750 million, you think that's going to bring it back? No, homie. No. You too far gone. It's over for you. You can't have, like, here's the thing. You can offer all these tax incentives as much as you want. The fact is, everything where you are costs 2 to 3 times as much as it does anywhere else. So your giant tax, things do nothing. They've got lower prices and they've got tax things. Why would they go to you? They wouldn't. They wouldn't. Because they'd be stupid to. They'd be throwing money away. Unless you have money to throw away, you're going someplace else.
Cornerstone. But critics argue that even $750 million might not be enough.
It won't be.
With an uncapped and inconsistent system, some studios may still choose to shoot elsewhere. However,
they will 100% choose to shoot elsewhere as they have been. Nothing's changed.
In Sacramento, the bet is clear. Invest big or lose the industry for good.
No. They're going to invest big and they're going to lose the industry for good. Again, California has no idea what they are doing. The governance in California is beyond stupid. They take in more money than anybody else. They waste more money than anybody else. I don't get it, but it's, you get what you vote for, I suppose.
As always, would love to hear your thoughts.
You just got him, baby.
The author of the book that I Know What You Did Last Summer, 1997, was loosely based off of does not fuck with the movie, okay? And to be honest, after hearing about why, I get it. Her book was published in 1973 and is a youth-oriented suspense novel about 4 teenagers who are involved in a hit-and-run accident involving a young boy. In an interview in 2002, she said that she...
Which, I'm just real quick, though, like the idea really for I Know What You Did Last Summer really is great. The idea, just the kind of basis thing is that a group of kids together accidentally kill somebody and then, instead of, facing up to, the accident and everything like that, you lie about it and then that thing comes back. it's a great premise, really, when you think about it. It's like, oh, it's a super smart story idea.
He was appalled that her story was turned into a slasher film, but this was due to the fact, and I'm reading a quote here, that her youngest daughter was murdered by an unknown assailant in 1987. She said, as a mother of a murdered child, I don't find violent death something to squeal and giggle about. Her book, though, wasn't far off from a slasher, though, supposedly. It says here, it's still a bunch of guilty teenagers being stalked and terrorized by a murderous madman. It's just that nobody dies in her version. So, in that sense...
What? No one dies? What's the point?
It's more like an old school mystery. Anyways, I love the film. It's a comfort film, but I wonder how much research did the writer do? Because I saw a quote that he was saying like, oh, I didn't read the book, but I was listening to what people were saying about it, reading about what people said about it. So I'm like, did you even know that the daughter got murdered? Because I didn't find anything about that. So. Yeah, like I say, it's unfortunate. Did they do anything wrong? I don't know. I was just thinking there's actually another tragic thing that has to do with I Know What You Did Last Summer, kind of. So, Anne Heche, who plays Missy Egan in the film. Her brother's David Egan, the one that gets hit, and in the film she thinks he committed suicide, right? Because in the film her brother David's girlfriend died in a tragic car accident, sorry. So she's like, oh my god, I think he probably committed suicide then. But so in real life, Anne Heche's brother dies in a car accident, which she thinks was suicide, but her family, I guess, doesn't. And in 2022, Anne Heche tragically dies in a car accident, which people think might have been suicide, but don't know.
Now listen, Anne had a lot of problems. Hell of a talent. There's zero doubt about that. Yeah, they're rebooting it with the old cast from the first movie. I do remember seeing I saw a little bit of the trailer just because honestly I feel like sometimes there's trailers that I feel like I can easily justify myself watching, and ones for reboots and stuff like that are definitely ones that I feel like I can watch, especially like I Know What You Did Last Summer. I'm like, the premise is the premise is the premise. Am I wrong? So I'm like, let me take a look at it. Let's see what's what. And of course, when old Jennifer Love Hewitt turns around there, I was like, oh, well, no surprise there.
You can't say Spike Lee makes a movie with it's a Spike Lee movie, and that's not a black movie. That's ridiculous.
No, it's not.
Okay, I'm very qualified to talk about this as a white man. But if Spike Lee makes a movie, is that inherently a black movie? Is Inside Man inherently a black movie? I don't know. You could say like Malcolm X is. You could say, Do the Right Thing is. But could you say his Old Boy remake, was that a black film just because a black filmmaker made it? Let's see what these guys' defense is. Defense, I don't know if that's the right word I'm looking for.
It is.
This to me is so very simple, and I've never understood why it's so complicated. My definition of a black film is very simple. If the story would be significantly changed by not having black people in the lead role, it's a black movie.
I think I agree with that statement. I think, if the race itself changes and that would impact the story itself, that'd be a black movie. Now, at the same time, too, I would take into account this, and I would call this, I don't know where he's going with this. Again, I don't watch these TikToks in advance. But I would say, Larry Cohen or somebody that was would direct. I think it was Larry Cohen. Memory serves. I'm gonna eat it if it's not. Who directed Coffee and Foxy Brown? Right. I don't think anybody's gonna look at Coffee and Foxy Brown and tell you that those aren't black films. They got a white director, but I don't know that anybody's gonna be like, that's a no one would say Foxy Brown's a white movie. So, I mean, I think it very much is. I think this guy's correct. It's whether or not it is about that person. It's much like Christmas movies and why Die Hard is a Christmas movie. Because if Christmas doesn't exist, John McClane does not fly to the West Coast. plain and simple. Ergo, it is a Christmas movie. Christmas is the reason that man is moving. I think if the movie's inherently about someone being black, yeah, that's a black movie, even if it's not directed by a black director. But I don't think having a black director necessarily precludes that to be a black film. That's my thought as a white guy.
Any other movie is just a movie with a black cast or black creative team.
Yeah.
So like with Spike Lee, Crooklyn and School Days are black films.
Right.
Inside Man and Old Boy are not.
Well, I can't believe he chose the exact two ones that he did, but it's very true. Those two are not black films. The other two are black films. So yeah, they can't. Yeah, 100.
But here's a curveball. This Christmas is a movie with a black cast.
I've never seen This Christmas, though I do want to see it because I was talking to a buddy of mine who's a comedian, and like he's somebody that just I feel like needs to have like a good kind of direction to him and everything. And I was telling him, I was like, listen, man, I was thinking the other day on a drive, and I was just like, where are the black Christmas movies? There's not. If there are a couple, I'm sure there's a couple, but there, like, you would think that we would have like really honest to God good black Christmas movies, and I can't think of one. And I was like, dude, you need to write a black Christmas movie, man. I don't think he ever, kind of ran with it or whatever, but like, I'd love to see a good black Christmas movie, but maybe this is one I need to check out.
But that framework works in any case. It's either a black movie or a movie with a black.
But that's because that was my specific point to him was like, I don't like, maybe like, again, maybe there were Christmas movies with, black folks in it, but was it a black movie? Was it about the black experience of Christmas and stuff like that? And again, I don't think that's something that I've seen portrayed in films very often. It's something that, like, again, as somebody who's an outsider of the culture and stuff like that, I'd love to see kind of a black Christmas movie. Make it happen, people.
Cast, depending on if the principal characters need to be black in order for that story to work.
Yeah. I completely
I don't
agree
really
with
get
that.
why the consensus among film people is that Oppenheimer is a way better movie than Barbie.
Just because it is. You don't think Oppenheimer's a better movie than... All right, let's see where he's going.
I kind of feel the opposite way, and I think it's a matter of me liking Barbie more than everyone else.
I will say this guy has, like, I've seen many of his takes here on TikTok and stuff. I don't know if he's trolling half the time. I'm not really sure of it. Part of me feels like he's just kind of be like, hey, let's see if I can tick some people off and get some interaction. It's working!
And liking Oppenheimer less than everyone else, but yeah, I kind of just prefer Barbie.
Oh, what a defense you have. What a wild defense. Hey, I just like it. Well, if that's the case, then I guess we've all been wrong.
The crowd of film lovers who preach physical media has been infiltrated by the film bros who bring such an elitist approach to the community to the point that it's starting to turn people away from collecting physical copies of movies because people are starting to heavily gatekeep and adopt such superiority complexes about physical media. The copy of The Godfather you got at Walmart for $5 is just as good as the $40 copy from Criterion. Who said that?
You did. I listen, that's been a new trend. This whole, looking away from the camera, saying some stuff, and then be like, who be saying that? It was you. Who's doing this? I'm not saying that there aren't some people out there that are, D-bags and stuff like that, but like, is that really... And who are the film bros? I really want to see who the film bros are because, like, I know there's some out there. I always thought about film bros like... those were always Zack Snyder people to me. You know what I'm saying? That's who I was kind of considered to be like film bros. It's like somebody who knows like a little bit of something, but is still just like kind of, swimming in the kiddie pool. Or somebody who, just learns about, foreign filmmakers and stuff like that, and then just that makes it's their only personality trait is that's what they like. Any American directors, no good. It was you. You said it.
Why do older movies just look better than half of the stuff that's coming out nowadays?
Film, Jeff. The answer is film. I don't know if he's going to say this, but the answer ultimately is things that are shot on film. As I just was recently looking back, and because I got Fury on 4K because I want to, hear the giant, tanks and stuff. And I was watching the movie, and as I was just kind of putting it in and, see the first couple seconds here, and I'm just like, I'm watching film. I could tell it looked different. And I pulled it up on IMDb just to double check myself here to see if they weren't doing some, shooting it on one thing and then throwing some filters and stuff on. But nope, shot in 35 millimeter, and it looks like it. That's why that movie looks so damn good, is that it was shot on film. Video doesn't look as good. Now, it can look good. It can look fantastic. You really can make some great, amazing stuff with digital photography. Zero doubts about that. I'm not saying that. But for a very specific look, for what I would call the best look, you still can't beat celluloid, man. Let's see where he goes.
So you've probably felt this even if you couldn't quite put your finger on it. Now, of course, there's the digital versus film transition. And as more people move to digital, we did lose kind of the depth that 35 millimeter, 70 millimeter.
Like a lot of people talk about depth and stuff like that, but I don't know that, I think that's kind of a cop out, because that used to be the case back in the day. I would say 25 years ago, that was always kind of a complaint. But today, the way with glasses and everything, we can do, if anything, we do depth almost too good now. I think that digital has afforded us the ability to crush the background so much that it's lent us to a time where cinematography looks worse than it ever has before.
Millimeter film gives you. There is a cinematic quality to film that can't be beat, which is why even some directors now doing digital shoots have added a film grain to their images.
Which I will say, the way to do that is the way that they did it in the Bob Dylan movie, Complete Unknown. They shot the whole thing in digital, then they printed that digital edit out to film, and then scan that digital film back in, well, not digital, but scan that film scan back into digital. That's what they then projected. And you know what? It looks like film. It looks like film because it was exposed directly to film and done through a chemical process. And you cannot simulate that physical, that chemical process. Not well enough, I don't think.
The other part of this is that streaming services and the amount of people watching at home has meant that the movies need to be cleaned up. The studios are asking for clean stuff that will look good on a TV. They don't want people to be challenged to, have to calibrate a TV like a movie theater projector might be calibrated.
Trust me, movie theater projectors are very, very sparsely calibrated these days. Very sparsely. Doesn't happen. Mostly because most theaters have more than, eight screens and stuff. There's no one full-time projectionist to do all the stuff. It doesn't happen. It's all automated. It's all bull crap. Things don't keep up the thing. Lenses are very often out of focus. Don't even get me started on how bad lamps are. Lamps are ridiculous. People don't do it, man. They don't care.
Just to experience a great film. And with all the CGI lighting, stuff is always kind of feeling wonky. Actors stand out against their backgrounds. Stuff's either, oversaturated or desaturated.
That's also due to them just being fast and not giving a damn.
And it just feels kind of flat. Meanwhile, if you watch films from the 70s, the 80s, the 90s, the 2000s, you feel that depth. You feel like you're watching a movie. There's a cinematic grade, a cinematic quality to that stuff that was shot on film, but also just things that were shot on real.
There's a natural element to it. No one wants to talk about it, but there's a natural photochemical element to it that gives it a very specific look and feel. You can try to replicate it as much as you want, and you can get damn close, but usually not. Usually it's pretty bad.
Locations before CGI. It's not that good-looking movies aren't being made anymore, because they certainly are. There are still incredible directors out there who make beautiful
shot on film
films, but they're not making them at nearly the same volume and output. And a lot of the modern blockbusters that make, $7
shot on digital
or $800 million at the box office are these clean CGI, just over.
They're just blue screen fest. It's terrible.
Saturated, brightly lit films that were kind of designed for streaming services after their theatrical runs. The artistry is still there, but you definitely have to dig deeper to find it. And that's probably why you're feeling that a lot of modern stuff just doesn't feel like a movie anymore.
Feels like utter garbage. Thanks,
Here's
Jeff.
how Pixar's new art style is destroying its reputation.
All right. People been talking about this. I want to see where they're going. They're talking about Bean Mouth. You guys heard about Bean Mouth before? Here we go.
Elio, Pixar's latest film, had the worst box office opening in studio history with just $21 million domestically.
Woo, them's Blumhouse numbers.
Biggest reaction to this news was that not many people enjoy the Grubhub animation style for full-length feature films. I actually went to watch the film, and it was actually a pretty enjoyable movie about Elio and his friend Glorden becoming friends and repairing each other's relationship with Glorden's dad and Elio's aunt. But
that looks stupid. I'm sorry. What he just described to me and what little bit of animation I just saw, and this is really the first I'm seeing of it. I mean, I've seen this dumb character's face. I couldn't tell you what the hell this thing's about. That looks bad, dude.
Believe it or not, animation style is more important than writing when it comes to captivating a general audience. Movies like Luca, Turning Red, and Elio are kinda limited to exposure.
Look at him. Bean mouth. They all got bean mouth. Are they all trying to be Wallace and Gromit? Is that what's going on?
Because their art style is basic, but worst of all, it's repetitive. Pixar movies of the past always had drastically different art styles with each given release. Ironically, the Grubhub animation commercial came out in 2020, and that's about the same time when Pixar switched to this art style. I don't know if that has anything to do.
Oh my god, I never saw this animation before, but this is I didn't know what he was talking about, the Grubhub, but that's wow.
With this, but one thing is for sure, if Elio performed so poorly, maybe that would be the wake-up call for Pixar to go back to its roots of making drastically different animation styles for their movies.
Nah, why would you do that?
It was a beautiful sunny day at the pool. There was only one thing that could make the day better.
Oh my god. Okay, listen. I saved this one because I thought it was stupid. It refers to a bit of a movie, and I'm going to go ahead and apologize for the Rizzler being in it. If you're also not aware of who the Rizzler is, I also apologize because you're going to learn that for half a second. Jesus.
Now look at that there. The Rizzler knew what he had to do. The Riz face, of course. His plan was in motion.
So, this is the Rizzler. I saw the Rizzler before he kind of took off, before he exploded onto the internet. His Black Panther costume bit was hilarious. And again, I looked at that video and I was just like, this poor kid, this would have been me, in 1989 with Batman and everything. So, there's a lot of, as a little fat kid, trust me, I understand what this kid's going through. But he rode that to the moon. And he's been on the Tonight Show. He's done more with his life, and he's not even 11 years old. It's the Rizzler. And for many reasons, I'm hoping the Rizzler lives past 15 years old. He held his nose when he was going in. That's not a good sign. Would it be hilarious, though, if they're trying to recreate, which is clearly what they're doing here, is the from the Sandlot? Would it be hilarious if he goes, here's what I'm doing. I'm going to fake drowning. This girl going to give me an old Smoochy McSmoocherson. But she's too busy eating her Hardee's sandwich or whatever the hell that is. Is it... I didn't even know it was actually Hardee's. That's hilarious. I'm like, that looks like a Hardee's burger. That shows you how fat I am. Of course, I haven't eaten Hardee's in a while, but I'm just like, that looks like a Hardee's burger, son of a bitch. But if she was just like, this Monster Thick burger is fantastic, and then the Rizzler just dies, that would be the most amazing ending. But you don't have the guts, Hollywood. I can tell you the word.
Nice execution, Riz Dog. The new BBQ pulled pork Frisco burger.
This message is approved by the Rizzler.
That was a Rizzler. You ever see him before? American Icon. Probably gone before 15.
Here's what never made sense to me about
Jason's
Star Wars.
Back.
It's the fact that the number of these guys who would have to exist to make the Empire work is so huge that the number won't fit into your brain.
All right, I think I initially stopped the video here because I was like, I don't know where he's going with this. But let's see.
And already some of you are saying, well, the Empire has millions of troops. It even shows big crowds of them in the films. But at the scale we're talking about, millions of troops would be a speck of dust in a cloud. For example, let's say the Empire wanted to invade and control Earth. And this is a military that fights and controls land with ground troops. They basically fight using World War I tactics.
Okay.
So how many troops would just that one operation take? Well, I looked it up, and it turns out that back in the 1940s, an army actually tried to invade Russia. For this operation, they brought 4 million personnel and 5,000 aircraft and 600,000 vehicles. And
yeah, but let's be fair, though. Most of those guys couldn't read above a 3rd grade level.
it turns out that wasn't enough. A lot of these guys still there. So what would a ground force have to look like to take on and conquer all of the Earth's militaries? The collective standing armies on Earth is about 25 million soldiers, and the moment an invasion began, recruitment would go way, way up. So would 100 million stormtroopers do it? And that's just to take and hold one planet the size of Earth. And according to Star Wars nerds, the Empire controlled 1.5 million planets. Even if only 1 out of 1,000 planets was currently being invaded or was in the process of rebelling, that's 1,500 wars the Empire would have to be fighting simultaneously.
Well, here's the... Okay.
I don't know that 150 billion troops would be enough to adequately respond to every crisis as it came up. And then we get to the ships, because every time they try to show massive scale of space battles,
there's a lot of ships.
The scale is actually tiny. In World War II, the U.S. Navy had almost 7,000 ships.
But these aren't like... But Jason, these are the equivalent of 1,000 of those ships. They're so big.
Just in that one Navy. And I use that comparison because in Star Wars, that's what these have always represented. It's their Navy.
Right.
They would need millions of these things. If they flew in formation, it would look like a locust swarm. And again, the crew and support staff...
I mean, but the thing is that the weapons on these things are so much more powerful than they were back then. So it's like we're not really comparing apples to apples.
Would be in the billions. And all of these people have to eat. I mean, we see...
No, they do not. These are all clones, Jason. This is where my argument was ultimately going, is they need all these people. Well, yeah. That's why they made clones. Those aren't people. They're all little Jango Fett ripoffs.
In the films, they're just people. They eat food and drink water.
They don't have to. They die off. Who gives a shit? We just print more. There's more of them. We got plenty.
They need medicine and bandages.
No, they don't. We just let them die because they clones. Who gives a shit? Just let them go.
And I bring this all up because I find it fascinating that in order to tell the story, we have to shrink the numbers down to a microscopic scale.
All right, because we can't show everything. That's impossible.
Because the actual scale of a galactic war is incomprehensible.
And here's the thing, though. Think of the Star Wars planets that you've been to and stuff. They're not all populated like Earth is. A lot of those are probably very small planets. I don't know why I'm, simping for Star Wars like this, but I just feel like it's, you got to think about the arguments. These are the arguments that we would have at, the lunch table in middle school and high school and stuff. Really high school. Middle school, I ate with teachers because kids were all too dumb. But yeah, these were the things that we'd be talking about, like at the high school, lunch table and stuff like this. But yeah, it's fine. They're all clones. At the end of the day, you can always just be that Star Wars nerd and point and just go like, well, they're all clones. They're all clones. And that also too, that means that you could then get away with kind of murder, because it's like, oh, we can just kill off as many of these stormtroopers as we want, and no one gets to feel guilty about it because they're not real people. They're just clones. H&P movie night is a good idea, says Alex. So we might have to I gotta cook up what the boys would want to do.
What's your major? I'm a film major.
Oh boy. First of all, I'm looking at this outfit and I'm going, you're a film major? Suspicious.
You can answer 5 questions every film major should know? Yeah, sure.
This seems like a fucking setup, doesn't it? Yeah, I suppose I could answer a couple of those questions. Let's see if I can answer them. Film school graduate.
I guess. Cool. What is the purpose of a storyboard?
It's to map out a scene before you shot it and everything. It's kind of getting your thoughts together. Like, we want to go from here to here to here. It helps with your continuity and go like, okay, here's where we're going. Here's where, the next thing is. Here's where the next thing is. How do they all fit together? How do I then plan what I'm going to shoot around these and what will get me the minimal amount of setups and whatnot? How do I continue the flow of this? That's what storyboards are for.
The purpose of a storyboard is to basically a shot list, but a visual one. One for one. What is the 180-degree rule in filmmaking?
It's not crossing the line. You don't want to have it's tough to do without like a little diagram here and everything, but it's essentially about people talking to each other and crossing the line so it looks like people are kind of talking incorrectly. You look at it and it doesn't match up.
It's basically where the line of action is, and you're not supposed to pass it with your camera. Good job. 2 for 2.
I feel like that's a little bit of a light explanation. It feels like you're only going to get partial credit on the test for that one.
What does mise en scène refer to?
I don't even think you know how to say that word, my friend. It's mise en scène. It's basically just the vibe. It's the vibe, baby. It's a little bit of everything that's going on. It is what it is, man. It's what makes it, man.
Mise en scène is what you actually see. Some account the composition, but it's more.
Why do I feel like this dude is the dude who set all this shit up? He just goes, here's what's going to happen. You're going to come to me and you're going to ask me these questions.
Mainly like the visual elements. Yeah, good job. 3 for 3. What is diegetic and non-diegetic sound?
It's didactic.
Diegetic, extra-diegetic, and non-diegetic.
Oh my God. If you boys can't even say it, how the fuck do you know what it is?
Diegetic is basically what's on in the real world for the characters. So a diegetic sound would, for example, be a radio or a TV that's in the movie. Got it. Okay, perfect. 4 for 4. Last one. What is...
These are the greatest kind of, like, it's it's one of these things. You know what I'm talking about, right?
This is the Kuleshov effect.
Oh, that's where did he play for the Nuggets?
The Kuleshov effect. That I don't know. Okay, no.
Oh, wait a minute. He's that guy that goes around and does magic tricks, right? The Kuleshov effect. Gotcha. Fairly certain that's what it is.
No worries. 4 for 5. How do you feel you did? I feel I did okay. Yeah. And what are you trying
to You're fired.
Get into with film? Probably directing. That's what I'm...
You didn't know how to say mise en scène correctly, so I don't know that that's going to be possible for you. Well, thanks for trying. That's $50,000 down the drain.
Looking at right now. Very cool. Good luck with it all. Thank you for your time.
Good luck with it. We'll never see you again. Hilarious movies you've probably never seen. Well, I will say this, Jeff, you're very smart for throwing in the word probably into that, because a lot of people, I hate when people do that, when they just go, these are some movies that you've never seen before. And it's all just the most Mickey Mouse, easy entry level crap you've ever heard in your entire life. Horror movies are the worst for that. We're just go like 5 amazingly scary horror films you've never seen. Hellraiser 2. And you're like, Hellraiser 2? What? First of all, you're wrong. Hellraiser 2 sucks. They came together with Paul Rudd and Amy Poehler. I hate that they have their names on the wrong side. Or switch the picture. Figure it out, poster designers. You suck. The Art of Self-Defense. I've heard good things about this one. I never got to see it. The Foot Fist Way. Let me tell you something. Let me tell you a story about the Fist Foot Way. I worked in television news overnights. And so every single night I would watch not only we were at an NBC station, so I would not watch I would watch the Tonight Show, and then I would watch Late Night with Conan O'Brien. Big Conan O'Brien fan. I watched every single episode, literally like 5 nights a week. I was up. It was in my editing bay there and everything. Watched it always. One night, Conan goes through. He's got a regular show as always, and his last guest is the Danny McBride character here. The world does not know who Danny McBride is at this point, but I forget what the character's name is. But they say he's going to come in and give us a Taekwondo presentation. So they get all of the kids together, and it turns out they're the kids from the movie, but they get them all in there, and they put together this whole Taekwondo, what's the word I'm looking for? Show here, exhibition. He gets them all together, do all their things, and they're screwing up. They're screwing up like crazy. These kids are all just doing the wrong thing, and he's yelling at them. And it seems so wild and uncomfortable the entire time of him just berating these kids in front of a live audience. And God bless Conan, because he was in on it, but he played it so cool that like he didn't know what was happening. That he was just kind of like, he was a little off put that this guy would be kind of yelling at these kids. And he was just like, all right, ladies and gentlemen, put your hands together for so-and-so and the blah, blah. And you can just see the audience just kind of like, what the hell did we just watch? We just watched this man yell at this kid, and you're watching it at home going, why would they air this? Why would they put this on? This has gone horribly, horribly wrong. You should just cut this from the show. Come to find out, it's Danny McBride, and he was coming in as his character for the Foot Fist Way. I don't even think they mentioned the movie, but it was a whole rap here, and it's very Kaufman-esque. It was so good, loved it. Foot Fist Way is a good fun time for that Danny McBride type of humor. If you don't like Danny McBride humor, you should skip. Youth in Revolt, I saw. I don't remember any of it. Michael Cera, like, he kind of plays like 2 characters, I think, if memory serves. I don't remember liking it. Zach Galifianakis was in it, I think. Four Lions was good. I think Four Lions was a little bit overhyped for me. You see all these little terrific-y things up here. I thought it was good, but like way overhyped for what it was. Nope, don't know those. Those are good ones to look up.
This is my yearly PSA, my yearly reminder to just go to the movies by yourself. Don't wait. If people don't want to see the movie that you want to see, but you really want to see it, just go by yourself.
Yep. I want to tell everybody that this is absolutely an option. You do not have to wait for other people to go watch movies with you. You should go watch them by yourself. You're probably going to like that experience. It might take you a little bit while to get used to it, but I bet you're going to like it. Less people to deal with, and cheaper.
And I'm going to address some of the common concerns I see from people who are like apprehensive about going to the movies by themselves. I started going to the movies by myself about 2.5 years ago. I don't always go by myself, but I honestly prefer to. One of the big things that personally stopped me from going to movies by myself for so many years was because I was worried people were going to think I was weird or I had no...
They probably all think you're weird anyways. That's how, I think most people are weird when I look at them out in public. I'm like, what are these weirdos doing? Stay away from me. So, yeah, you got to get over what other people think of you and realize that the majority of the time, most people aren't thinking about you. We all would like to have more inflated egos than we'd like to let on. It's like, hey, everybody's looking at me. They're probably not. And if they are, they're probably just going like, what's wrong with them?
No friends. And in reality, no one really cares what you're doing. And not only does no one care what you're doing, lots of other people go to the movies by themselves all the time. Yeah. The second thing is like the cost of movie nowadays, which I can't really do anything about that, but
you are right, my dear. You are absolutely correct. And it's something that I've been busting on this channel for a very long time. The price of movies need to come down Monday through Friday. Ticket prices are $5. If you want ticket, popcorn, and a soda, your total cost is $10. So your outing to the movie would cost you $10 whole dollars. Tell me you wouldn't go to the movies more if it was that cheap. I know you would. And then charge a little bit more for Friday, Saturday, Sundays, because people will be jamming in to see the new stuff. And if they don't jam to see the new stuff, then guess what? They'll see it Monday through Thursday for a lot cheaper price. And you must remember that the movie theater is a volume business. Get butts in seats. You're paying for that air conditioning. You might as well have somebody in there enjoying it.
I would check and see if your theaters have like $5 Tuesdays, because that's what my theaters do. Another thing I've seen before is people saying they don't want to go to the movies by themselves because they'll have no one to talk about the movie with after, and that's like the best part of going to the movies.
And all of you beautiful
and to
bastards.
that I say, that is why I make TikTok videos. Because I go to the movies by myself quite often, and also because people in my life don't really like horror movies the way that I like them, I don't really have anybody to talk about movies with. And that is why I talk to my phone and I post things online, because I need to get these thoughts out. And then also when I post it online, sometimes it creates a dialogue in the comments and all of a sudden we're discussing a movie. But anyways, Don't be afraid to go to the movies by yourself. To me, it is one of my favorite things to do. It's so like freeing and nice. And if you do want to go to the movies by yourself, but you don't want to go when a bunch of other people are there, try to go during the week. And preferably if you can do morning, that's great. But if not, early afternoon, and then there's less people.
Yeah. 100% agree. Just we need to go, but we need to go. The prices need to be lower, and people, I think, will go a whole heck of a lot more. Like everyone just said, that's how I ended up watching Terminator 2 re-released in 3D. Even a wonderful time, even by myself. Absolutely. I've had so many great times, but again, since I don't got anybody to talk about it, like she said, I just look to you guys at the internet and say, hey, you want to hear about this?
Here's the problem with Hollywood in a nutshell. This post sums it up very well. They're using...
All right, we're talking about the Mandalorian Grogu. I can't believe I've ever been so switched on something in my entire life. But let's go.
The Simpsons as their example, but it applies to almost anything. The early seasons of The Simpsons were written by eclectic nerds who had marinated in all sorts of weird old media.
Yep.
The newer seasons are written by people who grew up watching The Simpsons. And then someone responded saying that they think that this is responsible for the flatness of contemporary culture. A whole lot of makers are engaging only with copies of copies of copies.
Yes, 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 yes. And it's getting worse. It's getting so much worse, guys. When I was substituting for middle school and everything, these like 6th and 7th graders, even 8th graders, you'd ask them what their favorite movie is, and none of them have one. None of them have a favorite movie. Very few of them even have like a favorite television show. These are not things that interest them. They have no want to go back and look at old stuff. They don't give a crap. They just don't care. Their parents haven't raised them to care. We used to just, we watched everything, man. We watched old stuff. We watched, like Nick at Night was fantastic, dude. You'd watch something from the 60s. You didn't give a shit. It was entertaining. Kids today wouldn't do that. You think a kid today is going to put on an episode of Facts of Life and enjoy it? Hell no. Hell no, dude. We're barreling down a rough bridge here.
Instead of going back to the well. For example, modern Star Wars stuff is made by people who grew up watching Star Wars.
It was good for half a second, but then, here's the thing, though. First season of Mandalorian and stuff, you understood, and it felt like Jon Favreau really understood, and Favreau and Filoni really understood what they were supposed to do, what the assignment was to give us something that felt, absolutely like Star Wars, but took itself off the course enough to be new and interesting and different. And it took, again, like what he's referring to, what made that original Star Wars good is what it was taking from. When it was taking from the Flash Gordon stuff, when it was taking from all the other serialized things and Westerns and samurai movies and stuff like that, Forbidden Fortress, and throwing those things all into the Cuisinart to make Star Wars. Mandalorian was also that same way as well. You could look at it and go, oh, here is, our Western, here's our Western motif and everything. Man with No Name trilogy, very much a lot of spaghetti Western stuff in there, but at the exact same time, it was very much Lone Wolf and Cub, that exact same story as well, which again also pulls from American, Western culture and stuff as well. It all feeds into itself, and that's where the good thing was. When did Mandalorian stop being good? When they got off that train, when they went down the path of just kind of going Grogu. And Grogu's interesting. I like him well enough and everything. But we're starting to get away from what made this series cool to begin with. And they just keep going down the, well, we got to get more Star Wars route. And it's just like once Luke Skywalker showed up, it felt like all bets were off and the story was over. And like when we kind of send Grogu off for 20 minutes, it seems, to get his Jedi lessons from Luke, and then he's back in the hands of the Mandalorian, you damn near, Martez sister Grogu, for crying out loud. It's ridiculous. Like him being off with Luke should have been like an entire movie. But like he goes off for like, it's not even summer camp. He's off for day camp and then he's back. It doesn't make any sense. And now they're like, well, now we're going to do a movie. But the movie's going to be 5 years displaced from the last time that you saw them on the small screen. Are you going to give a shit? I don't know that you will. I don't know that I will. I'm going to go see it, but I don't know. Like I'm certainly not nearly as excited as I would have been 2 years ago if they would have put it out. It just seems like we're lagging here. And you can't be like, well, we can't get Pedro Pascal because he's too busy. No, he's just doing the voice. He ain't been on that show since season 1, man.
But the original Star Wars was a grab bag of all of the weird stuff that George Lucas was into. You had the old Flash Gordon serials, World War II dogfighting movies, and samurai films like Hidden Fortress. And he mixed all that together to get something that was truly unique and so weird that the studio was scared they were going to lose their money. And that just feels like completely the reverse of the way it would work today, where if you wanted to make an episodic sci-fi western for TV, the only way you can do it is to package it as a Star Wars thing. And then the show is going to get worse as it goes because you're forced to keep shoehorning in more Star Wars lore to make it tie into the rest of the franchise.
That is correct.
In other words, instead of taking all of your old influences and remixing it into something new, you're forced to take your current idea and reduce it down to something old.
Jason is 1,000% correct with that, everybody. We got to like this is how you have to solve these problems, man. You got to go in with a brand new set of eyes, take your influences, redo them, which is hilarious because everybody praises Quentin Tarantino and for good reason. But at the same time, too, they've never quite understood why he does what he does and what makes him successful, which is taking those things and redoing them. Because there's no, as they say, there's no new story under the sun or anything like that. I think that's absolutely true. So just take new stuff and reinvent it. Do a better job at it. But like I said, it's always got to go back to Star Wars because you're going to be scared to do anything that's a little bit different. This weekend, my 14-year-old asked if we could watch Bergman's The Seventh Seal. I think you're an absolute liar with that one. That would be hilarious. It's like, Dad, can we watch a man played chess with death? I think that would be a good use of all of our times, Dad. Appreciate that. Well, boys and girls, it looks like we're at the end of another lovely evening here. We've done a good little over 2 hours. Not too shabby here. These TikToks take up some time, and because I'm a yapping kind of fella, you know all about it. Thank you guys so much for dropping in. Really appreciate it. Make sure you hit that like and subscribe button, and of course the notification bell, so you know if and when we're doing some live stuff. I'm not exactly sure. I need to come up with like a good time for all of these streams and whatnot. So whatever time works for you guys, let me know, and we might adjust some stuff around. But again, I really appreciate all the likes, all the subscribes, all the comments, all the chats. We really appreciate it. I'm so glad that you guys have been very chatty and stuff tonight. That helps me, know that I'm doing something that somebody's paying attention to, and all that stuff is so greatly, greatly appreciated. That is it, everybody. We will see you maybe tomorrow. I don't know. Do you guys want to do this tomorrow? We might do this tomorrow. See you next time, guys.